it is literally pitch black out here. I cannot see anything with my naked eye. 100% black. I look through this, and what do we have in the corner of the yard? So, you see our fence line. And we have a dancing daughter with an AK. This is pretty sweet. I can actually see very well in the dark with this thing. Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. I've been very interested in night vision for a while, and the only thing holding me back from owning real analog helmet mounted dual tube night vision is of course the cost. It's very expensive. Unless you've got about 10 grand that you can throw at it, because you need a helmet, you need goggles, you're gonna need a laser aiming device on your firearm or multiple firearms. You're gonna need, the right optic setup. There's a lot that goes into it, not to mention the actual night vision device itself, which for dual tubes is gonna be like 8,000 bucks for a single tube. I mean, 4 or 5 grand for a decent PVS 14 Gen 3. So night vision is very expensive. So a lot of people have looked at digital night vision, and I can understand why that's attractive for the price. So when this company reached out to me and offered to send me their digital night vision, I figured it was worth a try. And so that's what this video is about. I did try this out. I've been using it every night lately. It is not a substitute for helmet mounted, analog real night vision. I'm going to tell you that right off the get-go, but I think it is pretty damn cool. So if you're interested in that, make sure you're subscribed, and let's talk about digital night vision. Just kind of panning around our backyard here. You see the details in the fence very well. Over here you see my daughter's kind of dilapidated trampoline there. And there's the door to our shed. And what do you know? There she is. And you can definitely see that she is holding an AK very clearly. Now, like I said in the intro, the one thing holding me and probably most people back from owning night vision is the cost. You're talking about many, many thousands of dollars. That's a lot of money to spend on something, no matter what it is. I mean, literally, I'm trying to sell one of my pickup trucks right now for 8 grand. That's about what it would cost to get into dual tube night vision for me. The cost of a truck. So when these guys sent this out, this is 160 bucks. That's a lot cheaper than 8 grand. Now, does it do what night vision does? It absolutely does. You can see in the dark with this, and in fact, you can see in the dark with it very well. But there are some major differences between something like this and, like I said, helmet-mounted analog night vision. For one thing, the way that digital night vision works is that it's basically a camera. It's a digital camera. Let's turn this thing on real quick. I mean, you can see it's got a screen. One of these is a camera, and one is an IR emitter, infrared light. That is light that cannot be seen by the human eye, but it can be picked up by an IR camera. And so that is how digital night vision works. It puts out that IR illumination. The camera sees that as if it were a flashlight, although it's a flashlight, again, not visible to the human eye. So if you wanted to go out at night and use this, you would be able to see in the dark, and everyone else would not be able to see you as if you had a flashlight. That right there is a huge benefit. But can you mount this on a helmet? Absolutely not. Can you navigate and walk around with it? We're going to get into that. It's tough. And there are a lot of drawbacks to digital night vision compared to, again, real analog night vision. And we're going to get into all those. But there's also benefits to something like this. For 160 bucks, you can absolutely see in the dark. I'm going to put in a bunch of footage that I've taken over the last 2 nights, but I've been using this every night for a while, getting used to it, because it did take some getting used to. Now this does a lot more than just night vision. This is, I mean, it's a whole unit here. And again, like I said, I mean, you're not going to mount this on a helmet and wear it like night vision. It's not what this is for. In fact, it is even set up to mount on a tripod if you want. But if you wanted to take it out at night and be able to watch the wildlife or even people or whatever you wanted to at night without being seen by anyone else, unless they had night vision, some way to see your IR signature, it absolutely does that. So we're going to try to kind of navigate and walk looking only through this. Now, remember, I'm looking through this and a phone. If I look at the ground, it's tough because of the zoom. But if I'm kind of looking at the whole scene here, I mean, it makes it a little easier, but it's also easier just because I know my own backyard. And there she is on the trampoline. So let's see if we can navigate over to there and how that feels. Hopefully we don't trip. This is definitely not very easy, but I can definitely see what's going on if I stop and pay attention. So it does see in the dark very well. Now, because it uses an IR illuminator in order for it to be able to see in the dark, it doesn't really need ambient light like night vision, like analog night vision does. Now, analog night vision amplifies whatever ambient light is actually there. And that could be very little light, but it does need some kind of light to amplify. Otherwise, there's nothing to amplify. Well, this does not. Because of the IR illuminator, you can go in a room, turn off the lights, pitch black 100%, and you will still be able to see in the dark with this thing. And if there is some ambient light, I mean, all the better. But it works whether there's any light or not. And we've had a bunch of very dark nights lately out here, and I've been able to see great. I've used it in my backyard, out in my front yard. I've used it inside with the lights off, and it does see in the dark. And besides that, like I said, it's a whole unit. It's a camera. It records in like 4K and 1080p, and it's a very high quality camera display, and you can record it. It's got an SD card. You can put it on your computer. You can, take nighttime footage with it, which is pretty cool. I haven't used it for that because what I was interested in is the night vision capabilities specifically, and that is what they call it, WARMTUYO Night Vision. And I'll put a link to it down in the description on Amazon. And you can get this, and it is much cheaper than getting into, again, analog night vision. So for something to play around with and be able to see at night, I think that it's well worth the price. But I want to talk about my experience with it because I have been using it now for a few weeks. Each night I go out for a little bit after dinner and just play around with it. There's a couple things about it that make it a little bit tough. I tried to, walk around and navigate with this, and that was very difficult. You have a zoom on it, digital zoom, so it can zoom in and out, but it doesn't zoom out to like a true 1x. And I'm not sure exactly what its farthest, least zoom is, but it's zoomed in some bit no matter what. And so like from across the yard or something, I could like see my daughter, whatever, I could see things very well. When it came to close up, it makes like if I tried to turn around and look at this in the dark, like what I would see would be like this instead of this whole what I'm seeing right now. It is zoomed in kind of no matter what. And so you got to think about what that is designed for then. One thing people always talk about with night vision is stargazing. So let's see if the stars are out tonight very well. And honestly, they look better without the night vision. Let's come back down here. There's the corner of my home. And once again, there she is. Steel targets. There's the monster face. And yeah, AK daughter there. I think that this thing will be really fun out camping, to be honest. You know, when you're out camping, it gets dark, you make your campfire. You have no idea what's going on around you. A little bit past the fire, you can't see anything. It's very, at least where I go camping, it is extremely dark. It's up in the mountains and yeah, you're out there. With this, I think that it would be really cool, and I'm gonna do this next summer when we're camping. I'm gonna take it out and be able to see what kinds of wildlife is out there. Because I remember the very first time that I ever tried on night vision, I wasn't LARPing at the range, shooting, doing anything like that. I was at a friend's house. His house was along the river. We were in his backyard, put on the night vision goggles, and what amazed me was how much wildlife was out there across the river that we had no idea was there. There were deer, there was all kinds of stuff that I saw moving around out there in the forest. This was back in Washington. I live in Idaho now. But there was a ton of wildlife out at night that you're just not aware of. And so something like this, I think would be very cool for being able to see that kind of stuff. But again, you're not gonna be able to mount it on a helmet. So, but you're not gonna want to. This isn't gonna work that way. I cannot imagine trying to use this and trying to shoot. That would be really tough. Even with a laser aiming module or something, you know, with IR signature, it would just be tough. I think maybe if you did have it mounted on a tripod, you know, pointed at your target and you're doing, you know, 100 yards plus shooting, it might work. But again, you're zoomed in on it no matter what. So unless you are using, you know, a magnified optic with the same amount of zoom, I don't know. I just think it would be tough. That's not what something like this is designed for. And the only reason I'm bringing it to you guys on a gun channel is because night vision and guns go hand in hand. And when I get real analog night vision, I will absolutely be doing plenty of content about it. It's something that I really want and that I've really been interested in for a long time. And this is an affordable version of night vision. But again, not really the same thing. You can definitely see it like detail very well. I can't see this with my naked eye right now at all. Just to give you an idea, in fact, that's funny. So my phone camera actually must have some IR capability as well, because I can't see that with my eyes. But through this, yeah, can see very well. Barbecue, propane tanks. We got the picnic table there. Barbecue cover on it because we just made some burgers. I mean, you can definitely see in the dark with this thing. It does exactly what they say it does, which is pretty sweet. It is fun to be able to see at night though. I gotta admit. It puts a smile on my face. It puts a smile on my daughter's face to go out and turn this thing on and be able to look around and see in the dark. Seeing in the dark is a superpower, and this does give you that superpower. Now, some of the drawbacks of digital night vision, latency, and that is a real thing. So latency is like the delay between, you know, the image that's there, reality, and the image that you get, you know, through the screen and something like this. And no matter how good or how little the latency is, even just that little bit makes a very big difference when it comes to the things that I would want to do with night vision. Like I said, trying to walk around, move around with this is tough. Like looking at the ground, all I saw was like grass and it looked really close to me. It's hard to do that. Trying to walk down stairs in the dark. I tried to do that with this. That was very difficult. But again, I don't think that that's what this was designed for, but I kind of wanted to test it as, you know, in the ways that I would want to use night vision. And I would want to be able to navigate around, to be able to shoot, which I did not go shooting with this. But it doesn't do those kinds of things well. What it does do well is it sees in the dark, and that it does do very well. So you have a number of buttons here. You turn the thing on, and you can see right there, I mean, it's a very high quality screen, 1080p, it films in 4K, 3.5-inch LCD screen. And once you, yeah, like I'm looking through it right now, and this is obviously in the light right here, but like I could see stuff on the other end of the room there very clearly, although, like I said, it does feel like it's zoomed in, absolutely. I'm looking at it while I'm doing this. It is zoomed in, so it's not made for like up close and personal. It's made for looking at stuff a little bit farther away. Now, it doesn't have to be really far away. 20 yards is just fine. Across my yard, I could see things very clearly. We have like a patch of mint that grows in the corner. I could see that very clearly. I could see my shed, my daughter's trampoline, whatever I looked around at very clearly, especially when you turn on the IR illuminator. So you have a zoom in, zoom out here, but it depends how you use these. If you hold them, it zooms in, zooms out. If you just push them, it turns your IR illumination up or down. And so depending how dark it is out there, to be honest, like I said, it's been very dark here the last few nights. I've liked to have the IR illumination up very high because then I could see everything extremely clearly. And it's actually pretty dang amazing. Now, the problem with that, if you were trying to use this in some kind of tactical scenario, well, other people with night vision can see an IR signature. It's why people use IR lasers and infrared illuminators on their guns. It's like having a flashlight and a visible laser, but you can only see them under nods. So if you're using digital night vision, other people with night vision are going to be able to see your IR signature. You can't get away from that because the thing doesn't work without the infrared signature. This is indoors in the studio here. Lights off, completely 100% black in the room. I cannot see anything with my naked eye. But as you can see, I can see what's on the wall there. So now because of that, I don't think it's something that you want to really use in a life or death, tactical, force on force type of situation. But again, not what it's designed for. This is the first product that I have accepted for the channel to make a video about that doesn't really have to do with guns. But again, like I said, because night vision and guns go hand in hand, I felt like night vision was something you guys might be interested in. And I think for the $160 price point, I think this thing is very cool. You can go out, you can see in the dark, and you can see in the dark very well. Just understand its limitations. It's not going to be the same as putting dual tube nods on or even a single PVS 14. You're not going to go out shooting with this. You're not going to really, you're not going to be hands-free with it. It doesn't mount to a helmet or anything. It'll mount to a tripod. But I do think things like camping, like being able to see what's out there in nature that you couldn't normally with the human eye, and even in town. Like I was watching the traffic go by the other night. They, I'm sure, had no idea that I was there because regular people without night vision on can't see IR. So that IR illuminator output doesn't matter for 99% of the people 99% of the time. You are basically invisible in the dark and can see in the dark with this, which is very, very cool. I'm not saying to go out and spy on people or be weird, but it's just cool to be able to see in the dark and other people can't see you. It's fun. That's all there is to it. So I think for $160, this is very fun. I'm going to link it down in the description. It's an Amazon link. It's an affiliate link, so it does help the channel. And so that is greatly appreciated. But Even if you click that link and you don't buy this, but you just do buy anything else on Amazon, as long as you clicked my link first, it helps the channel. And again, very much appreciated. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about digital night vision, because people have very strong opinions on it. People that have analog night vision, they definitely don't have a high opinion of digital night vision. And after using it, I understand why. But I think that people that haven't used analog night vision, I think that something like this is pretty cool and pretty fun. And I think it's absolutely worth the $160 price point. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. Make sure you're subscribed. And from Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.